Hello, people. My name is Kyle Clark, or K Clark KO, and of course, here with Death Trap Gaming or Martial Danger, or Ohio Speed Machine, or Ohio's Higher Speed Demon, whatever you want to call them. So we are awaiting our guest this time. That is the episode that we're describing his legacy, an impressive legacy. So, well, originally before I researched him, I didn't know much, but besides him body slamming Yokozuna. So, of course, we're going to get right into that really shortly, and he's going to join us momentarily. And so, he was in the WWE from the mid to late '90s, and then he was in a little short stint in WCW where he kind of lost it a little bit, kind of lost a lot, like gained a lot of weight and replaced Booker T and Harlem Heat. So, you know, he was only had a few matches in WCW. So, and from there, he kind of advanced his career, kind of recovered from it. But here's the thing: he has had a lot of accomplishments during his career. He was the first ever African American to win a title per period in the WWE.
To win a singles type, to win his title period in the WWE.
The singles title in the WWE ring for the Intercontinental Championship.
It says he won a single type. It didn't say a single title. I'm reading the captions. It says he won a single type.
All right, should I just do automatic captions so YouTube does not have to do automatic caption? Okay, so this guy's name is Ahmed Johnson. He was a strong wrestler at the beginning part of his career, where he debuted back in '95 on Raw. And he surprised me a bit when I first watched it. It's honestly, and he has a finisher similar to Tyler Bate, I'm not assuming, but I was thought that it was his finisher. The little Tyler driver 97, if you know what I mean. That trap.
Tiger driver.
Yep. He says Tiger Driver on the automatic captions. So, anyways, moving on from that, where the opponents that he gone to face in that during of time is Shawn Michaels, The Rock, British Bulldog, Owen Hart, Isaac Yankem or Kane at the time, Undertaker. We're gonna have a lot of questions for him, even especially in the time where the Montreal Screwjob happened. He was in WWE when the Montreal Screwjob happened, or at least after it. He left in '98. From 1995 to 1998, he was in WWE, and lots of pounds of matches. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't even sound right either. But okay, moving on from that. Ahmed's kind of reminds me of a Lex Luger kind of guy during his run. He faced a lot of people and beat Goldust for the Intercontinental Championship at King of the Ring. And I kind of watched the match. It was not bad. Kind of, Goldust is up to his antics, just like, and, Ahmed Johnson was like this powerhouse that knocked down everybody in his path. I think he competed in 2 Royal Rumbles, the 1997 and 1998, where Stone Cold was actually won in the match. So Stone Cold won the match in 98 and 97. 97 and 98. And he didn't really do much. He tried to go after the Intercontinental Championship once again, but he was unsuccessful. So I wonder if the people that he faced kind of still see him in the limelight today, and all this stuff here with the Montreal screw job, the click, and all that. The different.
Welcome to the Uso Penitentiary.
It actually did it right with the automatic captions.
Let's go.
So so the old so Death Trap here has some kind of like he remembers Ahmed Johnson, what he looks like, but he doesn't. He just remembers that he's a legend. He doesn't really remember much.
Yeah, I don't really watch any of his matches.
But well,
only 15 people. Come on, man. Come on. What do you expect?
He watches like 2010s to now, but I kind of like look back on the history of wrestling and all that. But besides,
I remember Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne,
Yes, Evan Bourne.
Evan Bourne, and well, Ahmed Johnson is no stranger to 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 um to struggles or to hate. Um, well, like Ahmed Johnson, Rocky Johnson himself, even like kind of been in WWE and broke down barriers. So did Rocky Maivia. He was hated. Everybody has its haters in the WWE, even in those days, where it's so electric. It went from the WWF to the WWF, and I gotta say, I haven't been when I first watched wrestling, I wasn't watching the WWF. The first time I watched was WrestleMania 33, or little glimpses of it, where Goldberg and Brock Lesnar fought for the second time. I learned, and it wasn't bad. Brock just hopscotch, just leapfrogged over Goldberg and
Blah 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 blah. Blah blah discover.
Discover. Put it on my Discover card.
My Discovery education.
Discovery, yeah. Uh, so from I think this is like he's gone barely in start of the Attitude Era, and from the golden era of wrestling, like I think it was the Raw is War, went from the old Raw arena and to the Raw is War, where he wasn't really competing, I think, but Ahmed Johnson
What's from the right war? What the?
not the
messing up.
what are you talking about? The right war, the automatic captions. That's the problem.
It says the Rise War.
You said right war.
So I said. Apparently, I said right war. Why did I say that?
I don't know. Oh, here's our guest at this time.
Well,
Here's our guest at this time, Mr. Ahmed Johnson. How's it going, my man?
I'm all right, you?
Good. How's the weather there in Texas?
Hot.
No kidding. We've been
Real hot.
We've been hot in Virginia and Ohio respectively. I don't know about Ohio, but in here
Ohio's
it's been
weather
90s.
is like random. It snows like in May. So it's very random.
Oh, yeah?
So,
Brother, it's hot down here.
So you've been a WWE legend of the business since like the mid 90s. And through the tenure that you had in WWE, what was your main reaction when you first done your debut match?
Just happy and shocked and that it went so well.
I see. What is about WWE, about your WWE run, that kind of like made you shine and like if impressed like a lot? I don't know if it impressed like a lot of the people in the back. I know you're not not familiar familiar with like struggles and like getting through the locker room and all that throughout the years that you were in the WWE, including like 2 Royal Rumbles that you were in. That Stone Cold won. Like speaking of which, out of the peers like that you actually faced in the WWE, like Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Isaac Yankem, British Bulldog, and Shawn Michaels, which one of the WWE peers it kind of like stands out to you out of the matches that you had with them? Hold on 1 second. Hold on. So, hold on 1 second. Is it not working? Oh, I think he had like some type of technical difficulty.
Difficulty technical.
Technical difficulty.
Difficulty technical.
Technical prowess. What's so funny?
You're a bum.
I'm not a bum.
You are a bum.
I'm not a bum.
A bum.
There's actually a friend on my PlayStation that says who messaged me recently. It's called "You a Bum," but with the
I remember
W.
I remember they joined the party the other day.
Yeah, but jokes aside, we're gonna wait until
Uber Obama.
Okay, let's kind of get a little serious now because we have like a WWE legend on our hands that was supposed to end, but kind of like had some technical issues. I hate the fact that there has to be technical issues with all these things.
We should sue him.
No, what do you mean sue who?
The technical difficulties.
You can't sue the technical difficulty. Oh,
Yes, I can.
back. Hold on. Is it working now?
Yeah.
Okay, because we kind of lost you when I was when I was trying to ask you a question. Throughout your years in the WWF at the time, you've gotten to face all the all-time greats like Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Ken Shamrock, the Sultan, or known as Rikishi today, and Owen Hart. How did it feel when you faced all those legends out on like Raw or Superstars or Shotgun Saturday Night, all those events?
It was fun, man. It was exciting. It was a lot of rambunctious stuff going on. You know, a lot of hee-hawing and playing jokes on each other. And it was some good matches.
I know you'd like during the time in the mid '90s or the late '90s, where the Attitude Era kind of started. I guess you're familiar with like the Montreal Screwjob when you were in the WWE, and when it went down in Survivor Series 1990 at 97, what was your initial reaction to the Montreal Screwjob? Did we lose you again? Should we make a Facebook group or something?
Damn these technical issues.
Yeah, it's real technical. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's real technician. It's really a Kurt Angle.
A Kurt Angle.
Technician, isn't he?
We should if he doesn't if he joins one more time and if it doesn't work, we should transfer to Zoom maybe. See if it would work better.
You're lucky I still have Zoom. You are lucky.
I'm lucky. What do you mean I'm lucky?
Because if I didn't have it, we would be blimp. I look back.
We would.
Who would be who did he get the good advice from? Like when he was on his way going back to wrestling.
Mm,
Who gave the best advice? Who was like, who did he look up to?
yeah. You could ask him that. I'm gonna log into
I
my
was gonna say,
Zoom.
you better not
See if
take my question.
I'm not.
I'm gonna shove a rock a boot up your arse.
Hmm. Is it? All right. It's. Let me get this. Get this Google
I'm
Meet
the
up and
I'm the
up and.
big dog.
You're not the big dog. Okay, that's cool. Give me a minute. I didn't see a message. I give a minute to get myself together here. I'm restarting. Don't know what's going on with me. Oh, it's on his side. He doesn't know what's going on his end. Please do not be the Chris Hemrick incident where I have to give the phone give he has to give me his phone number, which I do not want because it's a personal phone number. It's just that. Let's hope this technical thing will put technical issues be put down. Basically, be put in its grave. Which I mean, um,
Grave Grim.
grave grim, really. Uh, what do you mean, grave grim? Oh, he's calling on my Facebook thing.
Hi, brother.
Hold on. I'm gonna answer it this time. Is it? Is it working now? I
Oh,
hello.
it's out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you want to try? You want to try Zoom?
yeah. We could try Zoom. If that,
Because I don't know what's going on
yeah,
Google.
yeah. That's whatever works. Because we had we had a guy on here that we had so much technical issues that I had to he had to give me his phone number in order to do it. So I don't want this to I want it to be a repeat of that.
Right.
All right. So we're gonna try Zoom, and if that
Yeah,
doesn't,
let's try Zoom.
okay. All right. All right. Okay. Zoom. Zooming out of my way. Zoom.
Please zoom on out of here, boy. Let's go.
What are you talking about, McIntyre?
I am not Drew McIntyre.
But who are you? Who are you if you're not Drew
I am
McIntyre?
Drew Sack on fire.
No, I'm Drew Expired. Drew Expired.
Expired.
Drew McMac. All right. Should. All right. Zoom should work now. If this doesn't work, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. If Zoom does not work, it's really. I don't. Please, just pray to God. Pray to God it will work. Pray to God. Pray to God. Pray. Okay. 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 Not this. I did not mean to open this window. Boom. There. I'm gonna wait until both of them come in so I can emit them at the same time. Alright. it should work now. Please pray to God. Can my camera work? Yep. Yep, it does. Okay. Okay. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. See if. Please pray to God. Please let it work. Please let it work. Please. 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 Okay. I'm gonna wait for him to come to see if it'll pop up. Okay. All right. Come on. Okay. See if this would work. Please. All right. Let's see. Check the live. Okay. Till he's in. Okay. He's. All right. I think he's gonna say he might be logging in.
Okay, Lord.
Um. Please, dear God. Okay. Is it? All right. Tell my buddy Marshall to what are you doing? Hello? Oh, there you go. You can join the waiting room now. Oh, to find my pen. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Okay. Marshall. Pray to God it will work. I'm just waiting. You entering, Marshall? Marshall? You can enter the waiting room now. Mm. Oh, all right. There we go. Is it is is it working for you, Ahmed?
Shawarma.
Um, if you're talking, your microphone is off, or you plug it in, Ahmed.
Well, I think you're talking to me.
No, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to
I just want to have a mic on me.
um. You didn't mute his mic. It doesn't say it's plugged in. I know he does have a headset. Oh, oh. Uh, Can you hear me, Mr. Johnson? On.
Marshall, you hear me?
Okay, now I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. What I was saying before he got interrupted by this technical issues. You during your tenure in the WWE, you had to witness a lot, like the clique being in power, like using their power to, use them against other jobbers, like coming into the business, just like burying them, and the Montreal screw job, and how Shawn Michaels kind of like kicked Bader to the curb. It's like, hey, you're gonna go back to Colorado, um, you know, if you don't act up and stop playing stiff, Speaking of which, the what and a Survivor Series of '97. I think you were on the card that night. What was your initial reaction to the original Montreal screw job with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels?
You're breaking up.
Oh, all right. Just testing. Is it good? Is it or is it is it working? Is it is it working now?
Yeah, just
No. Wait. Okay. Is it okay? Just making sure you can hear me. It's kind of it's kind of the daily stroll with Zoom. What I was saying is, what was your initial reaction how the Montreal screw job was going down at the time of Survivor Series of '97?
well, we thought it was going to be a regular match. We didn't think it was going to be a screw job. And then when they came in and they screwed them over, that made everybody pretty pissed off.
Well, moving. So, who do you think was to blame for the Montreal screw job? Was it Vince McMahon saying, "Oh, Brett screwed Brett," or was it just Vince McMahon himself at the time?
I think it was Vince McMahon.
Us moving on. Still on the same topic. What was your initial opinions on like Vince McMahon's like booking or like managerial roles in the WWF at the time?
I didn't hear you. Broke up.
No.
We were talking at the same
All
time.
right. The What is your opinion about like how Vince McMahon was running the company and how he played a managerial role and the commentary role at the same time?
I think he did a good job. As far
Wait, you got cut off for a second, but you but I heard what you said. So, what is your opinion about like him nowadays?
um, let me think here. He's still a good owner, I guess, or a good boss. Now, the person, I think he can use some improvement as his attitude goes.
Well, moving on from that, you've had a short. As I recall, you had a short stint in WCW after your original WWE run, under the ring name Big T, replacing Booker T in the Harlem Heat stable. What can you remember from the short WCW stint?
The guys seemed to be a lot cooler, man. I mean, they didn't complain. You know, if you got in a match with them, if you shoot on them, they shoot back. You know, they give you what they got. But they didn't run to the boss and complain like in the WWF. They'll run to the boss and, oh, he's hitting too hard, you know, and stuff like that. But WCW, the voices seem to be a lot tougher.
I, well, Marshall has a question that he was going to tell me when you had this little technical issue. Marshall, you had a question?
Mr. Johnson, if you through the years on your way to WCW for a little bit, then going to WWE, who was the one person that you thought was a good mentor to you?
That was a good what?
Mentor.
Like a mentor.
Well, WWF, Razor Ramon used to, you know, help me out quite a bit. And Al Snow was a very good coach, man. Very good help. Was Al Snow. And WCW, nobody really mentored to me because, I mean, I already, you know, had my wheels under me right then.
Still going on the WCW route. Out of how the WCW was at the time and like how it was like failing down, like going down the toilet, what some would say, like until 2001 where it was bought. What was your like initial like opinions how WCW was running it and like people that were like put in charge like Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff?
Your mic went out.
Oh, okay. So what I was saying, what was your initial thoughts about the managerial roles that like were put in place, managerial people that were put in place, like Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo running the show, like in case of bookings or as like an on-screen GM or something?
Well, I like both of them. I like Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo. But what the problem was, they let the boys basically run the organization. And then once again, you're going back to a clique. You know, a clique was running this whole show.
That clique is the NWO.
Right.
Yeah.
Not saying anything negative about them because they, you know, they did a good job. But Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo hardly said anything.
So moving back to the WWF route, what was it like when you won your first and only title in the WWF, which was the Intercontinental Championship against Goldust?
It was a fun match, first of all, and then when I won, it was amazing, because the fans' response was just amazing. I mean, it made me very, very happy to be the first African American to win the title.
Through all the stints in WWF and WCW, what are some stories that stand out that can be told, even like when you left the company? What can you like tell people, like to WWE fans that remember you in the WWF or WCW, a little short stint? What what are the stories that stand out?
Stories?
Like,
Um,
doesn't have to be like fights or locker room arguments or actual shoot fights or maybe like disputes between I don't know, like I'm gonna name something out the top of my head which is not might not be true, like you and Vince McMahon kind of like kind of arguing about contract disputes or whatever.
yeah, we had an argument about some contract stuff. Basically one of the reasons why I left. I mean, it was just contract bull jive, and that I may have been in the wrong, he may have been in the wrong, I don't know. But it was, some stuff that shouldn't have happened.
Well, the well in WWF at the time, you've faced a lot of people like really strong men like that have been felt the wrath of the clique, like Vader, for example, like I mentioned with Shawn Michaels. And like you faced him in a match where you had like incredible strength going in the match. You were able to suplex the 400 pounder like down to the mat. Like that's really impressive to say the least. Um,
What's that, Yokozuna or Vader?
like they where you bought good thing that you gotten Yokozuna. When I first kind of watched you, in my personal bias, you bought when you body slammed Yokozuna, that was like I was like, you were like a Lex Luger kind of guy, like just like showing off your strength and all this stuff.
Right.
So what was your honest opinions about how the clique were running the show per se and in the WWF?
It was all about the clique, man. It was all about what they want to do, and they were kind of running the whole show. And if you were someone of their stature, you was going to be screwed. But someone of my stature, they didn't bother with because I wasn't in their little lineup of people to mess with. But they were very, I don't even know how to even call it, man. They were in charge. They ran the show basically. That's what I know Shawn Michaels did.
Moving on from the Shawn Michaels incident, what was when you got into when the locker rooms in both WCW and WWF? What was the difference between like the locker rooms in when you had your short or brief stint in WCW compared to your longer stint in WWF? How the locker rooms
Locker
were
rooms
like?
were pretty cool, man. I mean, like the Clinton had their little locker room, and everybody else had their locker room. But it was pretty cool, man. It was pretty good to go.
Sorry about that. I kind of like had to get the door. So moving on from that, all what is your favorite match through your WWF stint?
One of my favorite matches with Vader.
With with Vader,
Yeah,
Big Van Vader. Rest in peace, man. Honestly,
yeah.
he, he impressed me when I first watched him. He's like going throwing all people around the ring. He's like kind of like fits in like with Rikishi and Yokozuna and Big Daddy V, Viscera.
Yeah,
That I think you might have got in touch with during the road in 1990s. Um, so what is your favorite? What is your favorite opponents to get in the ring with?
Vader, Rakishi, Savio Vega. Uh, I guess you got to say Farouk since we wrestled so many damn times. Um, Yoko. Yoko was a lot of fun. Crush. Who else? Al Snow. People like that, man. They were a lot of fun to be in the ring with.
If if you had to pick a guy that you haven't faced in WWF or WCW, and you could or a modern guy, what would you pick as a dream opponent for you that you haven't gotten to face during your wrestling
You
career?
mean now or the past?
It doesn't have. This doesn't matter. It's past, present, maybe
I
future.
think that me and Goldberg would have had a good match.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, around the time I think you might have heard this when you were in WCW, where Goldberg had that Starcade incident with Bret Hart, where Goldberg, kind of did a little too stiff and just kicked him straight in the nose. You know, um, well, Bret Hart's like kind of like, you're real stiff. I don't want to work with you. He kind of like ended his career. So what? I'll list off some people that you worked with and your honest opinions. You could give your honest opinions about them, or possibly like if you had like like bad heat or like heat in the
Kevin
back.
Nash.
Kevin Nash, I never wrestled Kevin Nash.
Um, Ken Shamrock.
Ken Shamrock never wrestled him, but tag team with him, and he was pretty cool.
Owen.
Definitely a lot of fun to be in the ring with.
Rocky Maivia.
Rocky,
Yep, The Rock.
uh, so he was fun to a point, but then he started believing in his own hype.
Chris Jericho.
Wait.
Who?
Chris Jericho.
I didn't hear him.
He said
Jericho.
Jericho?
Yep.
I never got to wrestle Jericho.
Shawn Michaels.
He was a good wrestler, but he would go to the boss's office and cry that you were too stiff on him.
The one that you mentioned briefly, Al Snow.
I love Al Snow, man. I mean, as far as his wrestling ability and his teaching, that is the best coach you can get in professional wrestling. If anybody looking for a wrestling coach, you can't get any better than Al Snow.
Did you get the rest of Bam Bam Bigelow?
No, I never got to wrestle Bam Bam, man. But I think it would have been a good match too, because Bam Bam was pretty tough too.
Stevie Ray, how you got to tag team with him in Harlem Heat.
Nah, he was cool, man.
Um, moving on from those, during your early days of wrestling, you were under the wing of several trainers, like some that come to mind, like Scott Casey and Ivan Putski. What are your what was your like early memories of getting in the ring and training with those two trainers that I just mentioned?
I'm Husky would train you, man, until you drop. I mean, he was very educated what he was teaching you, but God, man, I'm talking about you want to work out, brother. He would work you out until you would drop to your knees. And Scott Casey, I don't know why people say I was trained by Scott Casey. I never was trained by Scott Casey.
No, it's when I was researching it, kind of like when you kind of look at the trainers, it kind of like was kind of iffy, like different trainers and stuff. I knew like those two kind of like matched kind of, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was like Ivan Putski, you kind of remember, but can you name the other trainers that were that you were trained by that had memories of?
You remember Tugboat Taylor?
Tugboat Typhoon. If you're talking about that, yeah, I remember. But Tugboat Taylor, nah.
Yeah, they look just like each other. Him and the Typhoon look just like each other. But I was trained by Tugboat Taylor for a little while too. But my main trainer was Ivan Putski. He was the main one. And by the time Scott Casey got there, I was already graduated and gone.
I see. Gotten to clear up that misconception. So, before I ask you this question, do you have to do a follow up question? Do you watch modern day wrestling?
Not really. I mean, I peeked at it here and there.
If you had to pick between like the two main companies or the other like independent scene companies, like trying to match with them, would you pick AEW or like WWE, or maybe like if you didn't want to pick those, you could pick like Impact or ROH.
I think I would pick AEW. I think I would pick the new one there. What's the AWF or AWE?
So
I had someone that I was like, wonder if you had any thoughts about him. Tribal Chief Roman Reigns.
Who?
Roman Reigns.
No, I don't know him.
Do you have any thoughts about him, like about his gimmick that he has now?
I'm sorry. Say what now?
Do you have any thoughts about like his gimmick that he has now, the Tribal Chief?
No. What is his gimmick?
It's where it's like he makes his cousins do all the work for him and act like he's the boss around SmackDown.
Oh, Roman Reigns. Okay, yeah. I think they're trying to push him too fast, man. I think they're pushing him too fast and too hard. But people gonna look at him and think of him being any kin to The Rock. Is he kin to The Rock?
Yeah, I think he's cousins. Roman's cousins with The Rock. Yeah. So throughout your tenures in both companies, what do you do in your pastime when you're not when you're either on the road or not getting booked anywhere before you retire?
Just chill out, man.
Yeah, there's a dog in the background that I have. That's I know this. The struggle. So moving on from that, what do you do in your pastime when you're either on the road or when you're not taking bookings before you retired?
Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, your mic just lagged out for a bit.
Okay, hold on. Okay, is it working out?
Yeah.
Okay. What I was saying, what do you like to do in your pastime when you're either on the road or not taking occasional bookings until you retired?
I just like to chill, man. I like to read a lot. So I usually chill, read a lot, of watch a lot of documentaries on Netflix.
Um, Speaking of on the road, what was the traveling from like different cities and different countries? If you were, what was your like honest thoughts of like going through like when you were assigned to a contract and it's like going from city to city to city from different states? How did it wear on you? Did it like
Oh man, that takes a toll on you, brother. It really takes a toll on you. I mean, you're in Washington one day, Utah the next, and a plane ride, and oh my God.
so? Moving back to WCW, what I said, do you think that WCW would have been like saved when you were what you
It, it could have been.
despite their like demise that they were like different like creative control mainly basically killed the business like Hulk Hogan, like people like Hulk Hogan, Brian Pillman, and a couple of other guys like just left WCW and just like just left them out to dry and until WCW was trying to get back into WWF until the alliance got into face off at Survivor Series and the invasion snake.
Oh, your mic went out again.
All right, hold on.
Now I can hear you.
Okay, so what I was saying, what I was basically saying, explaining like the invasion storyline. I think you were familiar with it, where
Yeah,
WCW and ECW team tried to team up against WWF
right.
that you worked for. Was What was your honest opinions about the invasion storyline in WWE?
I thought it was pretty corny because the fans already knew that, WCW was going under and WWF had brought them out. They already knew. Try to trick the fans. I don't know if that was going to get over.
Speaking of ECW, was there any way? Was there any interest in for ECW to kind of like call you, just like, hey, Ahmed, I have a little proposition for you to work for ECW. Has there ever came to fruition?
No, that never did happen. I wish it would have, but it didn't happen. But I don't know if I would have went because the money wasn't there like it was in the WWF.
Throughout the tenures that you had both in WCW and WWF, was was there any chance that they thought of kind of inducting you into the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. Vince is pretty pissed off at me, so I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And he's so pissed off at me. He tend to hold grudges for a long time.
If you had to pick one brand to be on, uh, this what would you pick? Raw or SmackDown or NXT? You might have heard of.
I'll probably go to Raw.
Mhm. Um, Throughout what was like the locker room, the recipients in the locker room like that were like I think they were there. I'm gonna list some people that might have or might not have been there. Like Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, like Marshall said, Bam Bam, Goldberg, Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner. Have you gotten to know any of those guys while you were in that short stint?
Um, Not really. I kind of stuck to myself, man. I was kind of a loner,
Mm.
because I didn't want to get caught up in any mess, and
Nice.
once you befriend somebody, you get caught up in their clique. I didn't want to get involved in any cliques.
Mm. So I'm gonna give you a list of like current day superstars that you might or might not have heard of. And what's your honest opinions about them? All right.
Okay.
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, I don't know. He seems to be a good wrestler, but I don't know him.
AJ Styles.
Who?
AJ Styles.
Once again, good wrestler, but I don't know him.
Mm. Um,
John Cena.
John Cena, once again, I don't know him.
JBL.
JBL, yeah. Me and JBL wrestled way back in Global, man. And we had a hell of a match. But yeah, I know JBL.
Ron Simmons.
How can I not know him? Yeah, he's alright.
Triple H.
Triple H, a hell of a wrestler, but
What about? I think you might have heard of this name, but I don't know if he was there. You might have met him. Have you heard of the name Jack Tunney?
who?
Jack Tunney.
It sounds familiar.
He was the president of the WWF at the time, like around your time. But I think he was I think he stepped down as president as WWF of like the different day to day operations where he got handed it to Vince. Um, I- um,
No, your mic keeps going out, man.
oh my gosh, I hate this microphone problems. Oh gosh.
Have to make our own studio or something.
Yeah, might have to, but so what? What was your what was your what was your initial reactions of kind of like being signed to WCW? What kind of like you like reminisce like it was told it was told that you were kind of like gain amount of weight during the WCW run,
Right,
but
I did.
I don't want to fat shame. I don't want to body shame you, but that I think I was just reading that up with researching. I don't
Have
know
you
if it's-
have you met Dean Malenko?
No, I would have liked to.
Um,
I thought he was a hell of a wrestler.
I want to say his name, but I feel like I would get sued. Have you met Chris Benoit?
Chris Benoit? Chris Benoit. I don't know, man. Chris Benoit. I don't think I ever met Chris Benoit.
I know you've wrestled these two. The Guns, the Smoking Guns, Billy and Bart.
Yes. Very good tag team.
Is it the Disciples? The Disciples of, or is it the Apocalypse? 8 Ball.
No, I didn't get to wrestle them, but that's what all the debate was about. Is that they saying the rumor is that I refuse to wrestle with them because they're status or whatever.
Have
No, no,
you,
no, not disciples. I'm sorry, I'm giving you the wrong name. No, disciples. Yes, I wrestled against them and enjoyed it.
hmm. Have you met the Undertaker?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Kane?
He was that was a good dude, man.
He actually wrestled him when he was Isaac Yankem. He,
Yeah,
mm,
I wrestled both times. I wrestled when he was Kane, and I wrestled him again when he was Isaac Yankee. I mean, I wrestled him when he was Isaac Yankee, up, then I wrestled him when he was Kane.
um, British Bulldog.
Yes, I wrestled him quite a bit. He's a lot of fun, man. He likes to play games in the ring on you, play tricks him and Owen. But yeah, they were a lot of fun.
Um, I'm gonna name some people that are not like wrestling or like in the backstage area that might have been at the time. Arn Anderson,
I never got to deal with Arn Anderson.
um, Jeff Jarrett,
Gross.
What about Beetlejuice?
Who?
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
uh,
Who in the hell is Beetlejuice?
Oh, I think he was there like later on with Jeff Jarrett when he had that little referee with him.
No, never heard of Beetlejuice.
The Godfather.
Yeah.
Um, um,
What about X-Pac?
Yeah. Wrestling against X-Pac. That's a hell of a worker there, man. That's a good worker.
have you? What about? I don't know if he was in WWF or did he leave? Razor Ramon.
Yeah, I was there when Razor was there. Good. He was a good guy, man. Good mentor.
Diesel.
I never got to wrestle against Diesel. I was there when he was there. Never got to wrestle against him.
So moving on from those names, you've been in actually 2 Rumbles, in WWE, and both that Stone Cold Steve Austin won. What was your initial reactions to the Rumbles that were in and to Stone Cold Steve Austin?
The Rumbles were cool. I mean, they were good little gimmick. And Stone Cold, I don't know. I never really had a problem with Stone Cold. Now, whether he had one with me, I don't know, because somebody told me he wrote stuff on my car. But I never had a problem with him.
Vince's quote unquote stooges back then, Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson.
Oh yeah, I messed with Gerald Briscoe a lot. Like you said it right, his stooges.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Sergeant Slaughter, we never had a run-in with him, but he was back there too, back there with Briscoe and Patterson.
So, if you had to come out of retirement for one more match, who would it be against?
Ooh, that's a good question. One more match, who would it be? I think me and Brock Lesnar would have a good match.
Ooh, Brock Lesnar. He's real tough, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Because Brock, I don't think is with the WWE now, but Brock was he's like a monster. I don't know if he is gonna return, um, but Brock, I could see that happening. Like you said, like with Goldberg, I could also see that happening. So I forgot to say there's a little timer on that's displayed that you might see on the top. So I guess we're kind of like we're gonna wrap this up. Uh, th- Thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Ahmed Johnson. I really appreciate it.
No problem, brother.
If you want to come back on, just hit me up. Originally, I tried to get your first ever opponent in WWE on, but he was like it wasn't really in health wise to get on here to surprise you, you know.
Right.
So, hope you have a good rest of your day,
You
Mr.
too.
Johnson. And and I guess you have a good rest of your day.
Okay,
Thank you,
Kyle.
Mr. Ahmed Johnson. Thank you.
That'll be Marshall.
All right, all right. Peace out.
So.
Wow. Wow. That was well 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 that was Ahmed Johnson, a WWE legend, which we actually got into interview. There's more wrestling around episodes where that came from, and hopefully you guys can stick through this, and I think in game night we'll join shortly. So, anyways, we're going to have to end this here, and I'll see if on YouTube. I'm gonna say like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you're new. Uh, on Periscope, if you want to follow me on Twitter, uh, to kind of actually to keep up to date with the podcast and whatever wrestling around. So anyway, see you guys in the next.